Hey, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi. So the question I keep getting, that us here at 9 News Weather we keep getting, is why has it been so darn rainy lately? And what's behind it? And will it end anytime soon? So I'm going to break that all down for you. But first things first, let's take a look at just how much rain we've actually seen over the last few days, over the last few weeks, over the last few months. So far this month here in Denver, as of Wednesday, June the 7th, we picked up about 2 inches, a little less than 2 inches worth of rainfall so far this month. That's basically our full June average. We normally average about 2 inches of rain in an average June. And for what it's worth, June is one of our 3 wettest months of the year here in Denver. So here in the high desert, we're not used to getting a ton of rainfall, obviously, and we're certainly not used to getting this kind of water in this short of a time span. And then, of course, we go back to last month. Denver had its 11th wettest month ever recorded, its 4th wettest. May, we picked up over 5.5 inches worth of rainfall last month alone. It was a stunningly wet May for us across the Front Range. May, on average, is our wettest month of the year by a little bit. So it's not that common that we get, even within the wettest month of the year, that we get 5.5 inches worth of rainfall. And if you kind of pull it all together, over the last 6 weeks, we've picked up more than half of our typical annual rainfall here along the Front Range. So the question is, why have we been seeing so much rain and so much wet weather over the last little while? Here's the overall answer. This has been the pattern we've been locked into for quite some time. The big key on this map, it's that H at the top of your screen here. That is an area of high pressure that just does not want to move. The best way to think about it is that that area of high pressure is like if you took an 18-wheeler, you took a truck and you parked it in the middle of I-25, and it would create this huge backlog, right? If you parked that 18-wheeler in the middle of I-25 for 6 hours, that's going to create all sorts of downwind effects. It would lead to traffic going back miles and miles and miles, and that's essentially the setup that we've got right now, because that area of low pressure that's centered over the southwestern United States, that can't move until that area of high pressure does. Now in the northern hemisphere, or at least where we are here in the northern hemisphere, our general air pattern, it moves from west to east. So as long as you've got that blocking area of high pressure that just wants to sit and spin and hang out, that area of low pressure over the southwest can't move. And what that means for us here along the Front Range is persistent southeast flow coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. And that's why we keep getting these tropical downpours, these periodic areas of low pressure come out of it, and means we're getting into the mountains, a lot of Pacific moisture as well. So this is the overall setup and the main reason why we've seen so much wet weather over the last few weeks and the last few months. Last month, a bit of a difference that we had that big mid-May storm that brought about 4.5 inches worth of rainfall. That was due to a slow-moving area of low pressure, but again, same mechanisms in place. Just a slow-moving area of low pressure and just a couple of systems that really just don't seem to want to move. Couple bits of speculation about this as well is that we've had a couple of really strong typhoons out over the Pacific Ocean, and when you get a big, strong typhoon out over the Pacific Ocean, it often really disrupts the jet stream. And when you get that, think about taking a jump rope and how when you kind of swivel it, it creates a little wave that eventually moves on down. Same idea with a typhoon. If you get a big disrupting storm out in the Pacific Ocean, it creates that little bit of a wave that affects weather all across the globe. And so there's some theories, and I think that's the best way to put it, theories that a big typhoon out over the Pacific, plus we're transitioning from a La Nina to an El Nino, a couple of different reasons why we may be getting that area of high pressure stuck, but for what it's worth, that is certainly the main reason why we've been so wet. And so that's what this is. This is as of Wednesday, southeast flow out of the Gulf of Mexico, and that keeps all that moisture streaming out of the Gulf of Mexico and keeping us soggy and wet. And that pattern here, folks, it's going to stick around for really the foreseeable future, though there are some hints that by the middle of next week, that'd be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, that things finally start to get a bit more quote-unquote normal. But right now, it looks like it's going to stay really soggy, and with daily chances for showers and storms, and also within these showers and storms, a higher chance of A, getting them, and B, more water within those storms. Because we're getting this moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, this is tropical moisture. So these are not our typical mom and pop afternoon showers and storms that we get here along the Front Range. Our garden variety, 3, 4 o'clock, 15, 20 minutes, bada bing, bada boom, you got those storms, they're out of here. That's not these kinds of storms. These are slow moving storms that will sit and dump lots of water. They don't move quickly. So that means you can get 2, even 3 hours worth of heavy rainfall over the same area. And again, it is tropical downpours, and that's why we've been seeing this. And so as we get into especially Sunday for the weekend ahead, it looks really wet once again with more heavy rainfall and more cloud cover force. But the good news is, as we look at the drought monitor, this was markedly different at the start of the calendar year. Even 2-3 months ago, this was really, really different. We had at one point about half of Colorado under some form of drought. Now we've got barely 6% of it, and that's going to change as we get near Thursday as well. So long story short here, folks, we've just been locked in this persistent pattern for quite some time, mostly thanks to this blocking area high pressure and the kind of domino effect that stems from that. So we've been tracking that for a little while, but as we head through the next few days, that pattern is going to stay in place, with the note that we will probably be getting some relief over the sometime middle of next week. And then we transition to more of a monsoon season, very different mechanism of getting wet weather. So I know it's felt like this for some time, but this will probably break on up as we head over the next few days and over the next few weeks. So we'll keep you posted with the latest on that. But once again, meteorologist Chris Bianchi with that for you here on 9 News Plus, and thanks again for joining us.